Our next eminent speaker of the day is Dr. Vikram Singh. Dr. Vikram Singh needs no introduction. He is a gold medalist in physical education, PhD qualified UGC NET and JRF in physical education. Young Scientist Award 2002 by Sports Psychology Association of India. Dr. B.R. Ambedkar Awardee 2016 for contribution to yoga. Presently working as a senior physical educator in JNU, New Delhi since last 13 years. I would like to welcome Dr. Vikram Singh to share his vast knowledge on holistic health on us. Over to you, Vikram Singh, sir.
Awaz, please. Yeah,
Yes.
now it's okay.
All right. Thank you so much.
Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon. Good afternoon.
Sir.
दिल्ली वालों की कृपा होती नहीं है, बड़ा मुश्किल है। ये तो बड़ी बड़ी मेहरबानी है जब आप अपीयर हो गए। इतने दिन हो गए, मतलब पता नहीं कहाँ छिपे रहते हैं, न कभी याद करते हैं और न कभी याद आते हैं, दोनों ही बातें। थैंक यू सर, प्लीज गो अहेड।
Yeah.
Nice to see you.
Thank you so much. I express my gratitude to the Yoga Guru, Nav Yoga Institute, and other contemporaries and organizing partners. My sincere appreciation and gratitude to the chair, Professor J.P.N. Mishra from Central University of Gujarat, Shri Mohan Karki, Mrs. Karki, Neha Karki, Yoga Guru Shailendra ji, and the entire team. This is one of the wonderful efforts which you guys have started, have done, the entire team. Kudos to you for taking up this challenge during this COVID lockdown. And I often go through various videos and the chats which are uploaded by your team on the Facebook and elsewhere. So all your practical sessions are really commendable. Kindly allow me to share my screen so that, yeah, okay, can you see my screen?
Yeah, you are evergreen, sir, looking young. You're beautiful screen.
Thank you. So the topic that has been assigned to me is life skills for a wellness sector. Let us have a close look to the objectives which I have framed for my today's presentation. Basically, we will try to understand what are the life skills and how they are different than professional skills which are required to be an entrepreneur, and in the backdrop of various skills which are defined by the Healthcare Skill Council and the CII and various other public-private partnership entities which are working in the field of yoga, Ayurveda, Unani, naturopathy, and various other allied disciplines. And what are the challenges which are associated with performing the duties, doing the courses, where exactly is the interface between people who are undergoing presently certain kind of courses, it be courses through distance education, the courses which are foundation courses, the advanced level courses, the people who are actually working in the field as yoga teachers, yoga trainers, as senior yoga teachers, the people who are working as qualified instructors or qualified evaluators, and in the allied field and in the allied disciplines. I'll be focusing on time and the life management skills for pre-service and in-service teachers. What are the various openings which are important and essential for them as they perceive for themselves, and what are the expectations from the industry or is expectations of the industry from all of us who are professional in training, in keeping ourselves upskilled, how we can do that. Yoga as an art and science, yoga as preparation for life, whether we are able to translate those theoretical skills actually into our lifestyle settings or not, the career and expectations, the self obligations, the obligations from our families, the obligations or the expectations of our bosses and our family members. I'll be focusing on that, the growth and development. How is it possible with regard to the national point of view? Because we all have been witnessing a drastic change, with regard to not only the environmental factor, but also from the geographical and political point of view. As you must have seen in the recent past, there has been a lot of disturbance, the psychological disturbance in our society that has happened because of the killing of the innocent girl and by the suicide committed by Sushant Singh Rajput and various other, social dilemmas which are cropping up slowly and gradually, which could be the cause and which could also be the effect. So we'll try to understand that cause and effect relationship in the next few presentation slides. So let us try to define the skills, and we must be very careful that it is not easy to define the skills, the life skills, to be precise. Why? Because everybody perceives them differently, but a common definition for my today's presentation, I would like to say it is the ability of an individual to be competent in doing whatever he or she is doing, or whatever he or she intends to do in future, in order to be happy and satisfied with him or her. For example, whatever news or whatever views, I think it is lesser news and it is more of the views which the news anchors are presenting to us. And they target directly our emotions, and we start taking decisions and we start becoming judgmental and conclusive very soon and very often. So this is the power of media, or the power of, I would say, social media that influences us. So we must have that critical ability, the critical thinking abilities to interpret, to decipher the information which is available on the media to the people or the arguments we listen to. So what are the skills that are most relevant to influencing my own behavior or my own condition right now? In the opening session in the morning, there was the two females from Monkey organization. The moment they said you can download our software, I did that immediately, and I found 3 types of questionnaires which they use to evaluate our psychological condition. Like one of them was HPQ and one was about WHO9, and three other such questionnaires were used. PHQ9, the GAD7 and the WHO5. So I, out of my own general curiosity, I just started to search on the YouTube and search on various other web portals about the reliability and validity of these questionnaires and how better they are in influencing or judging someone's behavior. So one thing I could find out of my own critical thinking was that they do take care of a lot of psychological conditions in various situations of an individual. Plus, they are quite competent probably in collecting information about our sleeping patterns, which is health-related physical fitness variable, and also the nutritional aspects. So various studies, around 500 studies have already been conducted, which put a stamp, a seal on the reliability and validity of these 3 well-being questionnaires and how our behavior changes from state to trait kind of anxiety. So I congratulate that organization for being so very thorough in preparing their website, first. Secondly, while defining the life skills applicable to the wellness sector, that is the wellness industry, that includes Ayurveda, naturopathy, that includes yoga, that includes all the professionals from the allied fields, even the people who are practicing alternative medicines like acupressure and acupuncture. Also, how, what will the student be able to actually do if the life skills building exercises are successful? I mean, predicting the learning outcomes, and not only the knowledge and understanding, but also the student's ability to apply that knowledge successfully in the actual field situations. Now, here I want to take an example of the girl to begin with. I mean, for any female, who is walking around in some dark corner of a city, what should she be actually careful about? Number one. Number two, if at all somebody tries to attack her, what should she be actually doing? Number three, how can she mitigate that attack? Mitigate in the sense that minimize the harm that can happen to her. What are the different skills she can adopt? I mean, for example, if I ask anybody what she should be doing, the first and spontaneous reaction would be shouting loud. But sometimes, the situation is not that very simple. Therefore, it is not just the ability of an individual to understand and have knowledge of the skills, but also to apply that skill. And that too in the moment of time. Every attacker may not be a sexual assaulter. He or she may be looking for your money or your purse or your expensive jewelry which you are wearing. The person may be interested more in that. So it is very important to judge the condition, the situation. I came across a very good video recently wherein a particular person attacked a woman. What she did was she immediately sensed that the person was actually behind her purse, and she tossed her purse very high on the top of a roof in the nearby building. So what happened is that the person got so very confused, he straight away ran away from there. See, that is the kind of skill, the ability to judge. It's just like first aid, the moment you see an accident happening in front of you, God forbid it is, if he or she is your own family member, what will you do? It is very easy to get panicked. You have to take decision. That is why probably in the life skills, the problem solving and decision making, these are the very, very two important life skills which we must need to learn. And the another answer can be that we should learn self-defense. All right, now this first aid, this self-defense and these life skills, they are all very heavily dependent not only on genetics. These are all learned experiences. But yes, training does make you confident, but the most important life skill is common sense. If you have common sense, you can easily get out of any situation whatsoever. If you have the perseverance, if you have the achievement motivation, you can learn certain things and equally apply. The third thing which I want to focus while defining a skill is generating the positive and negative examples of how the skills might be applied. Just as in the previous examples I mentioned, there must be the worst case scenario for which we should be prepared. Besides always being positive that there will not be any harm that can occur to me. So positivity also plays a very important role. Just as in yoga, we try to meditate and contemplate all the positivities. Why? Because when you think shit, the shit grows. It's as simple as that. When you think positive, the positivity and the positive vibes and the positive environment grows. That is why in the early morning, we often try to give ourselves positive affirmations. I am going to be okay today. There is going to be a lot of good things happening to me today. Next is encouraging the verbal rehearsal and actions while learning or while defining the life skills. Correcting the misperceptions about what the skill is and how to do it. These are all the processes. See, there are certain learning outcomes out of learning life skills. There are certain specific objectives and general objectives of learning the life skills. Whereas there are certain misperceptions that often occur by virtue of our own personal experiences when we are trying to learn these skills. That correction in the misperceptions for ourselves, please always remember that the life skills are all tailor-made and need-based. It depends how do you behave. It depends what is your gender. There are individual differences while reacting and up to what extent you are reacting. I give you an example to explain this. There is a very good friend of mine who lives in Noida. What happens is, in the night, while she was sitting close to the door of a train, a person came inside the train, snatched her purse and ran out of the train. This guy was running all the way on the platform, and the instantaneous or the spontaneous reaction of my friend was that she started chasing him, shouting. Now what happened was, this is her own version. She said, I was running and running like mad, behind him. Two more boys followed her, saying, pakdo, 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 pakdo. Now, what could have happened there? Hello? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, what could have happened there? The moment she realized that that guy has run into darkness now, immediately somehow she stopped running. And what happened was the two men whom she was thinking may be helping her, who were shouting, running, pakdo, pakdo, were actually also his accomplice, the one who was running after snatching the purse. So you can imagine that out of our own spontaneous reaction, what further damage could have happened. So somehow, I don't know what kind of sense prevailed, she stopped and went back to her own compartment in the train. So we have to be very, very careful and aware, although there is a lot of awareness which is there, but the life skills do tell us how and where to take the decision, and where the effective communication, where the interpersonal relationships start and where they stop. So here I want to draw your attention towards the 10 core life skills on which I have personally worked while doing a project where I was working in SCERT in DIE, which was called UVA training program. And that program was conducted by the Directorate of Education. And we did a lot of modules with the teachers, with the students, especially it was related to adolescent education program. These are the WHO identified core life skills. Like first one is self-awareness. To be aware of our own strengths and weaknesses. The strength may not be physical always, but the behavioral strengths and I won't call that weaknesses. I would say that the points wherein there is still a scope for improvement. This is psychologically speaking. Our own desires and dislikes, our own self-obligations, and how do we cope up with them. Second one is the empathy, putting ourselves into the shoes of the others. Third one is critical thinking, new ideas. There is that often quoted adage that says that the feeble-minded think about people, and the great minds think about new ideas. So whatever questionnaire in the morning I came across was also very relevant in the sense that it mentioned that whether I am preoccupied always with the thoughts and ideas in the past or the events of the past, or I'm always planning for the future, whether it is so or not. So give yourself points according to that. So it is your critical thinking type that will place you to the better and higher hierarchy of the people who are actually applying the learning skills, actually applying the life skills in life. Then comes the creative thinking, the decision making skills, the problem solving approaches, effective communication, verbal as well as non-verbal. Yesterday I was going through another video in which one female was arguing with a policeman in the Hathras case, where actually this media lady wanted to actually go to the place where that the victim's family was residing, and she was stopped by the policewoman and policemen. And the kind of argument she was presenting was really not at all, not even humiliating. She was not at all humiliating anybody, but it was entirely and purely assertive. So let us all learn to be assertive in our communications, whether it is verbal or it is non-verbal. If you have a strong case, if you have a strong argument, there is all likelihood that 90% of the problems can be easily solved. And I also want to emphasize on the communication gap that often arises. And it keeps on widening between us and our subordinates, between us and our colleagues, between us and our boss. It often happens, and it is likely to happen. Therefore, never let this communication gap to seep in your life. Keep on talking, keep on communicating, because that is the lifeline, not just a life skill. The eighth one is the interpersonal relationships, which is extremely important. As we say today, networking. The other day, a friend of mine was telling me that he got stuck in USA during this lockdown. Now, what was keeping him alive in that place was that he was always having communication with the people. He was always developing the interpersonal relationships with the people. We all know that in the developing countries like Canada and USA, more than 50% of the population has gone 60 years plus. The biggest problem these people are facing now is the interpersonal relationships. And a lot of researchers have clearly shown that people join yoga classes just to develop interpersonal relationships. They are already very well. They are already having very good brain and mind. Sometimes they fake their illness in order to have the company of people. I mean, there is nothing wrong in that. It's just like ethical hacking. You can have the company of people if you think so, if you're seeking that desperately through yoga classes, through recreational classes, through various games and sports. There is nothing wrong with that. Coping with stress and coping with emotions is a psychological and a mental skill that can help you reap a lot of wonders if you have full command. And the yoga and various other meditation practices like Nadi Yoga are very much capable of understanding our needs and requirements and selecting the right kind of meditation technique that we want to follow and get benefits. Now, let us try to understand, is play a life skill? Yes or no? Play means anything which you enjoy doing or anything which you do. In the first place, let us try to understand what exactly is a play. There are three laws of learning by Thorndike. One is the law of effect. Whenever a child tries to kick a football, if he or she gets hurt, the child will never ever try to kick the ball. So you forget about him or her becoming a footballer or a soccer player. Second one is the law of exercise, which says that the moment we carry on or continue doing certain practices in our lives, like thinking positively, doing certain good things in life, doing some kind of social service, or doing any kind of exercise for that matter, we are actually doing a great service to ourselves. And there is this stimulus and response, we call it SR bond. With exercise, this bond becomes more and more strengthened. Third law of learning is the law of readiness. This law says that whenever a child is ready to perform a particular activity, the child should be given a full and informed choice of performing that activity. Otherwise, that particular level of maturity which is expected, or that particular level of growth which is expected from that child, will not be achieved to the fullest extent. For example, if we are giving a child some kind of ball or giving a child to do a particular stretch, the child may not be able to do that stretch, doesn't matter. But over the period of time when a child practices, he reaches the intermediate level, and then you give him or her the advanced level of stretching exercise, the child will be able to do it. So it is very important for a yoga guru or for a teacher or for a coach, for that matter, to understand the maturity level or the readiness level of the child to whom you are teaching, so that the child is able to take up the further challenge. That particular stimulus and response bond need to be further augmented by advanced level practices if we want the student to grow faster in not only the quantity of doing asanas but also the quality of doing asanas. As an example, now here are some of the indigenous games that improve upon our life skills, which we have forgotten over the period of time. Just remember, I remember myself running around, catching the kites, not just on 15th of August, but around 1 month before 15th of August. We used to run around carrying various, tree branches, catching and that was a very good skill. I mean, you need to anticipate the flight of the kite which is coming down in order to catch it, and catch it at the highest point. So nobody taught us, all these indigenous games like Coco, wherein you learn the skill of reaction time, not just the mind but body together. They work in Coco. Malkham. Look at the wonderful balance and the concentration that a person performs while doing rope malkham or pole malkham. Kabaddi is our own indigenous sport, that involves anticipation abilities, that involves reaction times, that involves our peripheral vision to improve upon like anything. Pittu Garam, you must have heard about Maram Pitti, with a small ball we used to play hitting each other. It was not the ball's force or it was not the pain that used to hurt us more, but it was the humiliation when the ball used to contact our body. So the kind of self-esteem, the kind of reaction abilities, the kind of judgment that involved in Maram Pitti was tremendous. The tunnel ball game, the tug of war, Rasakashi we call it, Kokla Chipaki. I don't know whether your children have played this game, but we used to play these games a lot. Kanche, kite danda, kite flying. I told you Vishamrit. I don't know whether these schools, the so-called public schools, are organizing these games or not. Ludo. Have you been playing Ludo? Anybody raise hand during this lockdown period with your family? If yes, then you are one of those privileged people if you have been playing Ludo, Saap Sidi, and the other game like that. Stone finding in the swimming pool was our favorite pastime. Even today, we don't let our children to swim in the rivers. Earlier, we used to swim like anything in the rivers, and we were not at all afraid. The carom, the chess, memory games, dog and bone games, and various other games which are suitable for the children with special needs. So that is why I said we are in an ecosystem. We must take care of this inclusivity of our environment as well. If we talk about yoga, the kind of life skill that we develop is focus by practicing Trataka. We develop stillness when we keep our senses in control, Pratyahar, silence. Self-awareness is learned when we focus on our breath. We learn to develop energy through the concept of life force. We call it Kundalini. So these are the skills which we learn, which we can apply directly into our lives. Now, what are the different forces, driving forces, and the present scenario that are associated with the healthcare sector, wherein these life skills and these professional skills are playing a very, very important role? Because now the competition will not be in learning things, but the competition is going to be in delivering the things, because it is not just the knowledge and understanding of an individual. It will be the biomedical science, it will be your information and technology skills, and it will be your ability to apply those skills, the communication skills, in actual setting. Our growing population has increased the demand of professionals to a very great extent. Now people are having very handsome income. Even the farmers during the lockdown who started practicing agriculture have been using and applying various modern techniques, and they have also become richer and richer. You can see in the market the rate of the fruit. So in various places, especially in Uttarakhand, I have come across many farmers, who are applying the life skills only, understanding the psychology of their customer to sell their product. The dietary habits have become very defective, which has made the healthcare sector even more in demand. The lifestyle diseases have increased, and it has been estimated that more than 17% people die of lifestyle diseases, like I would call them non-communicable diseases, out of which 17%, the highest, much higher even than the SARS-CoV, people die of cardiovascular diseases. Recently, we celebrated the World Heart Day as well. And rapid urbanization is also one of the cause of increase in the healthcare sector. So these are some of the statistics which I will not be discussing too much, but I will be talking about in the Indian context, wherein this Ayush sector has an annual turnover of around 12,000 crores, and it is bound to increase by more than 80% in the next 4 to 5 years. People are coming to India in order to get themselves treated, not at the cost, not just at the lower cost, but they are more interested in learning our holistic approach. And our holistic approach has also been not patented in terms of intellectual property rights, but we freely and wholeheartedly supply our knowledge and understanding, our herbs. There are 68,000 herbal plants which are available in India, which are used for the treatment and research purposes by Ayush Ministry. So this is the potential, tremendous potential, wherein our youth can develop their life skills to tap these various sectors. Especially, I want to talk about tourism industry. There was an argument, big argument recently. One minister was arguing with the other minister. One minister was the tourism minister of Uttarakhand. He said that Ayush Ministry should not intervene in promotion of yoga, because yoga can be best promoted by the tourism ministry. And you can understand how damn right the tourism minister was, because it is the spas, it is the hotels, which are going to make yoga more and more popular. Now there are education sectors which are associated, which are connected by the Ayush Ministry, who has done a wonderful work. Here are some of the more statistics which you can go through. Let me talk about the healthcare management industry requirements now. See, life skills apart, there are certain minimum professional skills that have been outlined and that have been prepared by the Government of India, that is Ministry of Youth, Ministry of Ayush, as well as the CII and the Healthcare Skills Sector Council. These 5 core skills are very, very essential, which have been identified. Number 1 is the communication skill, they say. I'll talk about this skill in the various, in comparison of the 3 types of duties and responsibilities and training programs which have been designed by the Healthcare Skills Sector Council. The IT skills, the self-management skills, the entrepreneur skills, and the green skills. You can understand the green skills, they are from our environmental point of view. So this is the combination of the public-private partnership model. From here only we can learn the skill that why the government agencies cannot just do away with their own responsibility of education and health services. They are responsible for providing health and education services at the minimum bare cost to the community and society, because that's what their responsibility is. That's what we pay the tax for. Number one is, for example, here in the healthcare sector. Why? Because it is the industry which is going to tell what kind of professionals we want, what type of life skills or what kind of professional skills they should have. In association with the Indian Yoga Association. So this is an example of public-private partnership. These times it is into yoga therapy. Positive bent of mind as well. So there are certain national qualification standards. Because of shortage of time, I won't be discussing too much. And define beauty and wellness sector. BWS means the beauty and wellness sector has clearly defined the job role of a yoga instructor. This is the first level. The next level is the yoga trainer, and the third level is the senior yoga trainer. Now, I'm going to things I wanted in philanthropy, where another side, somewhere in the deep-rooted intention is to earn money, and only money. But be careful that we should be aware of both the tangible and non-tangible, because work satisfaction also plays a very important role. And of course, money earning is not bad at all. If you go to any professional, any cricketer saying, I'm a yoga teacher, hello, I can teach you to improve your performance, the person is going to tell you, बताइए क्या सिखा सकते हैं. If he is not convinced in the next 2 to 3 minutes, he is going to say you, thank you very much, bye bye, see you once again. Thanks to all of you for your patient listening.
Thank you so much, sir. It's always a pleasure to hear from you, and I personally have attended a lot many seminars. And yes, not to forget, I've got some comments, and a lot of people have raised their hands when you said how many games of those old days you have played, and I think the maximum Shailendra sir has played lots.
Correct. He is a born player, a born champion.
Yes.